C10 Sorting out. A mixture contains two or more uncombined substances. The substances in mixtures can always be separated from each other. It is simply a matter of knowing how. Magnets can be used to separate a mixture of steel and aluminium. Decanting or filtering can be used to separate an insoluble solid from a solution, for example water and sand. To separate a soluble substance, for example salt, from an insoluble substance, for example sand, both substances should first be mixed with water. The mixture should then be filtered. The insoluble substance, sand, will collect in the filter. The soluble substance, salt, can be recovered from the filtrate by evaporation. Chromatography can be used to analyze or find out what is in a mixture of liquids. Centrifuging can separate mixtures by spinning a sample around very fast. The heavier parts of the mixture settle towards the bottom of the tube. Hospital laboratories use centrifuging to separate cells from blood plasma. The liquid part of our blood, or plasma, is a mixture of many soluble materials. These include nutrients from our food and waste material. One of the jobs that our kidneys do is to get waste materials out of our blood and into our urine. Sometimes people have kidneys that become diseased and they don't work properly. If our kidneys don't work properly, another way needs to be found to get the waste out of the blood. Machines have been invented to do this. The process they use is called dialysis. In some parts of the world there is very little fresh water. Distillation can be used to get fresh water from seawater. The process uses quite a bit of energy, but it is possible to use energy from the sun. The diagram below shows how distillation can be demonstrated in the lab. Fractional distillation can separate liquids with different boiling points. This process is used to separate water and alcohol when making whiskey. Crude oil is a mixture of many different hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are materials that are only made of atoms of carbon and hydrogen. Hydrocarbons with smaller molecules can be used as fuels because they burn very easily and release a lot of heat energy. Petrol, for example, is mostly octane. The picture below shows a model of an octane molecule, C8H18. The different hydrocarbons in crude oil can be separated by fractional distillation. Each part of the mixture that is collected is known as a fraction. Crude oil is separated into its different fractions in large factories called oil refineries. The various hydrocarbons in crude oil can be separated by fractional distillation because they have different boiling points. The smaller molecules have lower boiling points and the larger molecules have higher boiling points. The structures used to separate crude oil in this way are called fractionating columns. The crude oil is heated at the bottom of each column and the fractions are collected at different temperatures at various heights up the column. The fractions made of larger molecules are not very useful to the companies that run the oil refineries as they cannot be used as fuels. There is a process, however, by which one larger molecule can be broken into a slightly smaller molecule and a much smaller molecule. This process is called cracking. The slightly smaller molecules often include octane, which is used to make petrol. The much smaller molecules that are made include ethene, C2H4. Ethene molecules can be made to join together to make polyethene. Polyethene is a type of plastic, polythene. Polythene is a polymer made of ethene molecules. The ethene is known as the monomer. There are many different polymers, each of which is made from a different monomer. Polyvinyl chloride is otherwise known as PVC. It is made from vinyl chloride, which is the monomer. Different polymers have different properties. This makes them useful for many different jobs.